MICAH Beats activated.
Welcome to Just Therapy, where we talk about life with a comedy twist. With your hosts, comedian Sean Boyd, Antonio Ferguson, and Miss KT. We talk about a whole bunch of shit from politics to people actually taking shits. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the therapy session. Man, this be dope. Make a motherfucker want to rap. I can't rap, man. Hold on, here we go. I can't rap. I really can't. But come sit down on the couch with us. Man, I can't rap. Come to the couch. Enjoy the show. Let's go. Just another day on the couch, talking about all the problems of today. Welcome back to another episode of Just Therapy. I am your host, comedian Sean Boyd, and it's another beautiful Monday evening, y'all. Yes. Hopefully your work day was good, but we trying to end your work evening off right. Yes. Unfortunately, my co-host is sick tonight, so send some good vibes and some prayers to Miss BBC. Real quick, before we even get started, you already know what it is. Happy belated St. Patrick's Day. Glad you are here with us. Don't forget, if you want to see your comment on the screen, go to Just Therapy, the podcast on Facebook or YouTube, and I'll be able to put it on the screen. If not, if you're on my page, you know, I'm going to read it from a phone, so you know how it go. Real quick, big shout out to last week's guest, Reality the Poet. Definitely fun episode, informative, great conversation. Make sure you check that out if you haven't. But hey, I got another fire guest for you this evening. Listen, I am excited. I've been knowing this dude for an easy 14 years. Really good guy, friend, man. I can go on and on. Let's just get to the shit, y'all. Listen, the talented comedian Nathan Timmel in the building. What's going on with you, man?
Hello. What's going on with me is I just, as the intro was starting, got an alert on my phone. I don't think the camera will be able to pick it up, but I have been recognized by Facebook as a rising creator. Hey. Yeah, I post bullshit online, and that got me a useless title that no one cares about, but congratulations, Nathan Timmel. You've earned a rising creator label. So, yeah, my life's complete. I don't think I need therapy anymore. I think this meaningless Facebook notification, because I post garbage online, that filled the hole in my soul that came from daddy neglecting me. So it's been fun talking to you. I don't need therapy. Good night. I'm signing off.
Oh shit! Have you gotten your little $2? Like, because the other day I was looking at my email, and it was like it was in the junk email. Wasn't even in spam email. That they gave me, like, one time the most I got was like $5, and then the other day I ended up getting like $2.34 from Facebook from all my interaction on the page.
$1.01. I didn't even know what it was. I pulled it up, and they even sent me a PDF. You know, you had to open the PDF, and it looked like an invoice. You have made $1.01. That's 101 pennies. So I don't know which is more meaningful, the dollar and penny, or the label that because of the bullshit I post online, I am now a rising creator. I'm a
rising creator, man.
I'm a rising creator.
Go with it, man, and embrace that shit, man. Embrace it. It's okay.
Life is good. It's all silly. Man. I make fun, but it is what it is. What do I like? I obviously post garbage online. It's somewhere. It hit their algorithm as, hey, this guy's pretty consistent. Let's give him a label. I'm sure if I was 12, I'd be excited about it. So yay me! I post this. This could be actually, I should say, now I need therapy. Oh my God, I spend too much time on social media. Maybe we should talk about that, because Facebook has noticed me. I thought I was flying under the radar, but
listen, I don't spend that much time on Facebook. The most time I spend is telling people happy birthday, posting about the podcast, maybe some inspirational stuff here and there, and then I still get like $1 and some change or $2 and some change every month, and I'm barely like posting, So I mean, it is what it is. Whatever, Meta is giving me a couple dollars here and there. When they gave me that $5, listen, I thought I was balling. I was like, hey. I'm getting paid by social medias.
Hey, if you were to take, how old is your daughter?
She's 4.
4, perfect age. Take her, have her unwrap presents online. The kids that unwrap presents on YouTube make hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't know why. I don't know how, but literally that was a thing for a while, and you can bring it back. Just have kids unwrapping gifts on YouTube. It's what they do. They do it on YouTube Live, and they make, we're getting dollars, literal dollars. They're making hundreds and thousands of those.
Wow.
I'm holding back a sneeze right now, so I may turn my head and
sneeze
at any moment.
Oh man, listen, my daughter watches a bunch of YouTube Kids, and they have like parents and kids doing, like talking to themselves and talking to the dolls, and in the big backyards riding like. So I can just imagine what they make doing that show. So
my son is 9. My son is 9. He watches something called Skibbity Toilet. They make the dumbest music, not videos, but just Skibbity Toilet. That's all I know about it. He loves it, and it sounds horrible to me, but who am I to judge? I'm sure I liked crap when I was his age too.
There you go. Well, let's get on into it, man. Like, we want to find out about you. So listen, let's start from the beginning, man. What actually got you into doing comedy?
Man, it's a good time. It's a good thing we have a long time, because I can make this story really, really long. I'll try and make it short. Okay. There are a couple things. Once I went to, that was my first time on stage. I'm getting mixed up in my head. It was literally, I saw the unknown comic on the Gong Show, and I didn't know what stand-up comedy was. I didn't know I just know this guy wore a paper bag on his head and acted goofy, and then always there was the fight on the side whether or not to gong him. Like, all the judges wanted to, and one would fight like, no, he's great. And for some reason that stuck with me. So I was at a music camp, and there was a talent show. So I put a paper bag on my head. I was probably 5 years old, and I told jokes. It was Interlochen in Michigan, and it was the summer my family was, as they would say now, unhoused, because Dad got fired again, and we had nowhere to go, so we lived in a trailer, as my mom was a literal lunch lady for the camp. And all we had was the trailer that the camp provided, because we had nothing. And I was watching the Gong Show and decided to do stand-up comedy. Then I forgot about it for a little while. My grandmother accidentally bought me a George Carlin album, and I say accidentally, she would take me to the store to buy albums, and I saw one. It was a guy with his finger up his nose, and I said, "Ooh, finger up the nose, that's funny." Got it. So the title of the album was Class Clown. Who knew back then, before labels and warning stickers, that it would have the 7 dirty words you can't say on television? So I was a little kid, 4th grader. Younger than that, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. I was walking around shit, piss, fuck, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. And like, I was the belle of the ball. Teachers hated me. Parents hated me. But so then I was 10 years old, and Richard Pryor, Live on the Sunset Strip, was released in the movie theaters. And by then I sort of knew what stand-up comedy was, and I made my mom take me. She was a mom, so she was out of touch. She had heard of Richard Pryor, but, like, rated R, I wonder why. And then we go hear him talking about drug use, lighting himself on fire, dropping the N-bomb. And I'm just like, this is amazing. And she's like, oh, God, I brought my son to this. And then I got into music. I was in a band in high school, a band in college. Then I graduated from college, have a degree in English. Couldn't do a goddamn thing with my degree in English except maybe become a teacher, which I didn't want to do. And I reverted all the way back to childhood and went, wait. I always liked stand-up comedy. And so there's the arc. You go through those teen years where you forget, but it's all a return to childhood. And that I got on stage, did an open mic, and loved it. And I've been addicted ever since.
Wow. So how long ago? So how many years?
Now, a little above 20. A little
20?
about 20 years I've been doing this. Yeah, I met you early on in the game at the
Okay.
Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls when I was
Cuyahoga Falls. Yeah, that's crazy. What's going on, sis? Shonda Watson in the building, Jason Olsen in the building, Robert Edmonds, Mr. Bruce Haynes. What up, Unc? Shonda go say mom of the year. Taking you to see Richard Pryor. I'm surprised she didn't walk out while when she took you to see that and all the cussing that he was talking about.
I was a very willful little boy, so I think she knew at that point that she was resigned to it, because had she tried to take me out, I probably would have thrown such a fit that she realized it's better to just sit through it, and we'll deal with the repercussions later. So
well, there you go.
That's how you do a lot of things these days, is you just sort of like get through the moment, and the path of least embarrassment. That's the way mothers usually respond, is the path of least embarrassment, because in the quiet, in the dark, in a theater, nobody can judge and go, she's sitting there with a young boy. Right. But if they're crying, everybody will know. And then after the house lights come on, they can judge and go, wait, a little boy just sat through that? Oh shit. But by then she can just get me to the car and get me out of there.
Yeah, pretty much. So your first time on stage was 5 years old with a bag over your head, which is that's just crazy right there. So then the second time, were you still in college or you were graduated already?
I had just probably graduated, and there was a place called the Safe House in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that had an open mic on Thursday nights. And I went down, and every comedian tells the same story. They say, oh, I bombed, but I couldn't get over it. I have a slight twist on that story. I got up my first time on stage, not including being a little boy with a bag on my head, but the first time at an open mic as an adult, I killed. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm a god. This is so easy. And then I bombed the next 20 times I was on stage. Like that first time, for some reason, something clicked. I told all the right jokes. I was so good that night. A guy came up to me and said, hey, I've been thinking about getting into stand-up comedy. How do you do it? And I said, I don't know. That was my first time. And so he showed up the next week, and we've been friends ever since. But he thought I was a pro stopping in at the open mic. And then the very next week, he's like, no, you're not good. What happened last week? I'm like, I don't know. I'm still figuring this out. But yeah, I bombed. I was so cocky after that first show, and I ate a shit burger sandwich. Like,
that's hilarious. Well, my first time
go down
I did good. Like my first time I didn't bomb. My second time I didn't bomb either, but I didn't walk around like I was like a god at it. You know what I'm saying? It felt great. If I felt like I belonged, I would, literally walked off stage. Was like, I told you motherfuckers I can do this. So, and and just kept doing it ever since then. So, but
I didn't walk around like I was a god. I knew better than I was humble. But in my head, I was going, I can do this. And then after that second, I was like, can I do this? I think I can do this. But yeah, I didn't walk around cocky, but in my head, I'm like, I'm confident. And that confidence got yanked out from me like a rug or a girl I had just asked out.
Okay. So what would you say is some of your biggest influences in comedy? I know you said George Carlin was like the first album you listened to, and the 7 words that you can't say on TV, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But what really inspired you to like really keep at it and keep doing it?
Well, the 3 big ones are the 3 gods. It was, Carlin Pryor. And then after that, the first comedian I ever saw live was Robin Williams. Ooh. And I had been a fan of his because of Mork and Mindy and Good Morning Vietnam. And I knew of him as an actor, but I didn't know anything about his stand-up. I just knew that Robin Williams was performing live at the Riverside Theater in Milwaukee. And it was sold out. And back then you'd call in, you wouldn't go online. You'd call in or go to a JCPenney outlet to buy tickets, and or Sears. They had ticket sales at Sears and JCPenney. Anyway, I got my name put on a list. They called me the next day and said they've added a second show. I had balcony seats, not front row balcony, but like third or fourth. So it was really good. I could see everything. Honest to God, I missed half the show. He was so rapid fire. I was laughing so hard. You'd miss the jokes because you were laughing. He'd say something, you'd be laughing, and he'd keep going. You're like, I'm missing stuff. I had tears running down my face. My face and body hurt from laughing. And I think that's the thing. That was the moment where because that would have been not around, but either way. Oh, Robin Williams is also like Pryor and Carlin and the others I'm hearing about. And so that might have been the point that kicked it into overdrive, where it was
Okay.
like not just this thing that was out there that other people did, but seeing it live made me go, oh, maybe I want to do that. It brought it back in, even though I had been on stage once as a 5-year-old. But
right. Do you really even count that still?
no, I hadn't thought of it till you asked, and then I went, "Oh, when was that?" And that just that was free form. That was me going, "Oh God, when was the first?" Like I did that in Interlaken in Michigan. Yeah, that's not. I don't know if I should count it, but I did tonight. Maybe why not? It technically was.
Hey, there you go. I know.
I was in front of a bonfire, so I was backlit, which is always great for a show. It was outdoors, which is always great. But
that's
yeah.
always fun. Always fun. I've had some great shows being outside, actually.
I've never had a great show outside.
Really? I've had some great shows outside, which is crazy. The lighting always sucks, but I've had some great shows being outside.
I had one good show outside. Well, I've had a couple during COVID. I did a charity show for someone ALS. They were trying to raise money and asked if I would come tell jokes, and they were all focused because it was a fundraiser. But other shows I've done, it's more like, hey, there's a comedian. Oh, look, clouds. Oh, like they just something about being outside distracts people. So
okay, all right, yeah. I don't do too many, so don't get it twisted.
Or maybe you're just a much better comedian than I am, and when you get on stage, you take command of that stage, and they focus on you. Whereas they're looking at me like, well, I could look at this guy, or I could look at a cloud. They're both white. They look the same to me.
You said they're both white. All right. So so you got a new special out. Is this your first special or second special, third? What's going on?
First special, first one. Yeah. I'd been thinking about it for a while, and I hate to sound like a follower, but I am. Doing your own special suddenly became the thing. You don't have to wait for Hollywood to come pluck you and say, we are going to produce your special. I hired my own production company, a little local one here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and they did great. I mean, I have a friend that works in Los Angeles and has made an independent movie and works behind the scenes on movies. He looked at my special and asked how much I spent. When I told him, he said, wow, this looks like you spent double that. It is a professional looking special.
Right. I mean, that's the biggest thing, because like a lot of people doing their specials on YouTube. Like Ali Sadiq, he has his special. His first one was on YouTube. I think his second one was on there too. Jason Banks released one. Then Palmer released one on YouTube. That's just
TJ Miller did.
TJ Miller did. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think that's a bad idea, because like you said, you don't have to wait. I know back in the day, it was like, oh, I want a Comedy Central special, or I want an HBO special. Then it was Netflix. I want a Netflix special. Now it's like, do that shit yourself. You can get a good production team, like you said, and put it on YouTube and actually make some noise with it.
Well, and the thing that made me, again, I'm a follower, not a trendsetter, but Andrew Schultz, when he went through what he did with Netflix, when you said Netflix, that reminded me. He blew up on social media. They said, Netflix said, we want to give you a special. He said, awesome. That's every comedian's dream. Filmed it, and they said, okay, well, now let's start editing it because we don't want you to do this joke. No, we can't broadcast this joke. And he said, okay, well, I want my special back. Bought it and then put it on YouTube, because that was freedom. It's absolute freedom. You don't have someone leaning over you saying, you can't talk about that topic. No, you can't talk about. Not only can you hire a good production company, but you have freedom of speech. There are no corporate interests standing between you and the audience. And that was very freeing, because I, these days, am a chameleon on stage. You hire me for a corporate event, I can go clean. You hire me for a comedy club and say PG-13, I'm like, all right. But for this, I was able to say everything I wanted to say. And so it was very liberating and freeing to know that I don't got to worry about anybody except the audience. As long as they're laughing at the bullshit coming out of my mouth, I'm good. And I got lucky. I got a good audience. And it was like, I'll tell you this, I got a good audience. 2 days before the show, we were almost sold out. He said, yeah, I think we're going to sell out. We're doing pretty good. And it was 2 days before that we realized we had scheduled my show with the taping that I invested all this money in against Matt Rife, who had 2 sold out shows at the theater in town and had scheduled it months before. And it wasn't on our radar. We just completely dumbfucked our way into, well, let's choose that date. All right, perfect. Lock it in. And so anybody that wanted to see comedy was already at Matt Rife. So we got the scraps, but they were the best scraps ever. And I'm so happy they came out, but
nice.
Could have been a disaster.
There you go. I hear that. What's going on, BBC? What's up? Hope you feel better. She said it's always motivation to promote your own shows or special. We have to flow up for ourselves. That's what's up. Yeah. So you on the same night, 2 showed out souls, Matt Rife, and then you had your show.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, as long as the crowd is good, that's all you need. Is a good
that's
crowd.
all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm playing to a sold out. He was doing I don't know how many thousand people over 2 shows. I had to get I think 75, 85 in the door for a sold out. That's nice. You pick a nice small room. You pack it. You don't have to worry about a 300 seat room. You just pack a small room, and the laughter will be there because it's just reverberate. And I think a 75 person. You don't want 75 people in a 300 person club.
No, you definitely do not.
But 75 people in a 75 person room works great.
Right. So out of your 20 years, what was some of your favorite clubs to do? Not just because like you knew the person or, you became familiar because you were there a lot. I'm talking about one of your favorite clubs aesthetically,
Oh, I was going to say, because wouldn't that be intertwined? The favorite club is tied to the people behind it, or
well, true. That's true.
I mean, when you say aesthetically, the layout, or
the layout.
If I have to just go layout, it would still be one of my favorite clubs. But the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase is wonderful because it's sort of like, I guess I want to say stadium seating or depressed seating, where like the stage is down in the center and then the audience flows up around you. Okay. You aren't above the audience, they are above you, so that they are, like in a movie theater where the seats rise, so that everybody has a good seat. No, everyone is just sort of looking at you and comfortable, as opposed to certain places where I've been on stages where you just tower everyone. They see them doing this, cranking their neck. So I love the layout of the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. And then bonus, I love Roger, and I love his new manager, whose name escapes me because I only met her once, but she was wonderful. But that's one of my favorite rooms in general.
Nice. So let me ask you this. You've been doing it 20 years. What was some of the best places to, just not even aesthetically or whatever, what was some of the most proudest shows that you did?
Oh, that's easy. It's embarrassing, but it's easy. I would have to say all the shows I did in Iraq and Afghanistan, because you're a comedian. I mean, you're on stage, you're telling jokes, and you are, for all intents and purposes, a liquor salesman. When you are on stage, they want to sell liquor because they want to make money. And there are clubs like Ann Arbor, which I just mentioned, that they understand their business. They are a business, but the focus is on the comedy. But there are a lot of comedy clubs where the focus is on the liquor, and the person on stage is just interchangeable. They don't care about originality, or if the show flows, like you have this really dirty comic in front of a really clean one, and so. But my point is, I understand my role as a comedian. I never got a big ego like, oh, I'm an artist, I make people laugh. But when I went over to Iraq and Afghanistan, it was embarrassing and humbling because they were so thankful. They were so bored. You ever watch MASH? You remember MASH?
Yeah.
They always talked about going into town on a 3-day pass, right? It's like, oh, I got a 3-day pass, I'm going into town. There's no such thing in Iraq or Afghanistan. They're on base 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To them, a 3-day pass was hopping on a plane for 12 hours, flying to Kuwait. And even that's a dry country. There was nothing to do. So you'd show up and they would just shake your hand and like, oh, I've been so bored. It's just so nice to get to laugh because they're constantly in danger. Yeah. And those are easily the most meaningful shows, because I had viewed myself as a liquor salesman. Like, all right, I get on stage, I enjoy it. The audience, even if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, somewhere in the back of my mind, I might be thinking other thoughts. Like I'm connecting with the audience, but I know this club doesn't care about me. It's a mortgage payment.
Right.
But I actually felt connected in those places, and it really felt good to, and I hate to use these words, give back. Like, they'd say like, oh, thank you so much for coming over. I'm like, hey, I'm on vacation. I get to go home in 5 days. You are here for 6, 8, 10 months. Thank you. And so I finally got to do something with my little yappy, and it felt good.
Nice. That's what's up. That's dope. I like that.
Yeah.
So as always, anytime I get comedians on the show, I always got to ask, give me your top 5 in no order or in whatever order, just your top 5. Give them to me.
Top 5 comedians, clubs, audiences, shows.
Comedians. Okay. Yeah. Your top 5, dead or alive.
Okay, this is not in any order. It's the 3 I already mentioned, and then you're gonna throw Chappelle and Burr on top, and that's my 5 right there. You got Carlin, Pryor, Williams, Bill Burr, and Dave Chappelle. I mean, those are. Chappelle is just so compelling. Did you see? I don't have Netflix anymore, so I only saw a clip of his last show, his most recent special.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Well, I only saw a 2-minute clip, but I'm not going to give it away to anybody, but the punchline came at the end of 2 minutes, but the 2 minutes leading up to it were so compelling. He's such a storyteller that you're just like, you don't even remember you're seeing comedy until he hits you with the punchline and you go, oh shit, and you remember that this is supposed to be funny. Or God, I can't remember which special it was. There was one, it was right after Anthony Bourdain committed suicide.
Okay.
And he opened by saying, Anthony, we thought he had it all. Anthony Bourdain killed himself. We all looked up to him. We all loved him. I have a buddy that was going to be a lawyer, I think it was. He got straight A's, and then he got married, divorced, and I didn't see him for 10 years. He ended up in a Foot Locker. Do you remember the story?
No.
Okay, so I don't want to give it away too, but I guess I will.
Come on.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen all his specials, but I just don't remember that.
I'm just talking for your audience. I don't want to give it away to anybody, but I will.
It'd be all right.
He weaves this tale of how Anthony Bourdain was a celebrity. Everybody loved him, and he committed suicide. And then his friend was supposed to have this great life as a lawyer, got divorced, ended up at Foot Locker, and he's telling this tale. And out of nowhere, you've forgotten where you are. You're just listening. And the punchline, which I won't get right, is like, and that motherfucker never considered killing himself. You don't know what's going on inside someone's head. And you're like, it's so profound to think you believe that Anthony Bourdain has it all together because he's a popular celebrity. You don't know what's going on in there. Yet this guy who got beaten down by life and is at Foot Locker, he still had the strength to keep going. It's just like, this is what life handed me.
Yeah.
But it's funny and touching and insightful. And man, Chappelle is just at the top of his game. He's just brilliant.
He is. And you don't need Netflix to watch it, man. You got to get your Fire Stick, man. I don't have Netflix, so I got rid of all that shit.
I did have a jailbroken Fire Stick a while ago, but then it crapped out. I think we just burned through it.
Got to get another one. All right. Speaking of the special, we do have a clip. Everybody, let's take a listen.
I understand that I influence my kids. That's my job, to raise them correctly. And I know that they're paying attention to me, when I have a reaction. Like if I turn the page, transgender, then they're like, oh, okay, you. That's how we think of transgender people. I know that they're paying attention to me. What I did not know is that they are paying attention to me 24/7, even when I think they are not looking. And I learned that the hard way when my daughter got invited to a birthday party at a llama farm. I took her to the llama farm, and when we got there, the llama handler said, all right, everybody, safety meeting, gather around. Okay, what you gotta remember is llamas is temperamental. If they don't like you, they spit. And without skipping a beat, my daughter said, yeah, but if they love you, they swallow. And every parent turned to look at me. I'm like, hi, I'm the comedian, Dad. I must have said something when I thought she wasn't paying attention. I was probably talking to her mom, trying to...
You know what I think of when I see that?
What?
That I have changed one word in that bit and in my mind made it much better. And so I see that and I go, oh, if only I had that on recording. So now when at the beginning, I make the llama handler just a little more hickish. So I have to say, all right, what you got to remember is llamas is temperamental. And just changing llamas to llamas, I think is funnier just for the character. And I wish I had that on tape, but that's the way that it's one of those things where jokes are always evolving.
Yeah.
One day I just said llamas in my head. I was on stage. I didn't think of it like, oh, I should say llamas. Yeah, it just came out. I'm like in my head going, what about llamas? And it's just funnier. Yeah. There's another joke on there on the special that I've changed too. That I'm like, if only I'd gotten that. I have a joke where I talk about true story, a person who overshares on Facebook. And what's that?
So that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. Yeah. She said that she and her fiance got broke up and she was calling off her wedding. And so what I did is I held down the like button and saw the sad face. And I tapped that to show that I'm an empathetic person, that I care. And then 2 days later, she posts, okay, it was just a fight. The wedding's back on, which I thought was pretty dumb. So 2 months later, when she posted that her mom died, I was not falling for that shit a second time. Audience laughs right there. And then the tag that's not on the special that I thought of later is, I did still like the comment to show that I'd seen it. Like, so even though I'm not putting like, oh, I'm sorry, your mom, just like, I acknowledge, like, you know, and they're just, it's funny. It's like, that little tag. Comedy's always evolving. And the best part is, like I said, you come up with these things as you're on stage. What if I said it? They're like, oh, it just came out accidentally. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it comes out on purpose, not accidentally though. So that's the good thing about it, you know.
Yeah,
it's like I'm always arguing with my brain on stage. Like my brain is already, like I'm already talking, and I'm already in the joke, but my brain is like 2 jokes ahead of that joke. And I'm arguing like, no, I don't want to put that there. My brain is like, shut the fuck up. I'm doing this. I'm running the show. And then I'm like, all right, yeah, you win. And then when it comes out and everybody's laughing, my brain is still 2 jokes ahead. But then my brain is like, I told you, motherfucker, it was gonna work. Stop, questioning me. It's the weirdest shit ever. But I love it. I absolutely love it. So
I just did that on Saturday. I had a show Saturday, and I don't remember what I said. But when I said it, my brain went, hey, remember that joke you haven't told for 5 years? I bet you could make that fresh right now and make it seem organic. Here's the twist. So I'm telling a joke, and my brain is working on this joke I haven't told for 5 years. And when I finished the one joke, I actively told the audience, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you a joke I haven't told in 5 years. I honestly don't remember it. I'm just going to start talking and hope muscle memory takes over. And they all laughed, and I'm like, you're laughing. You have no idea how serious I am, how I'm. And I started talking, and I remembered the bit, and it did really well, and they were all laughing. I'm like, not too bad. And my brain went, you should listen to me. I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Your brain was like, why are you talking this extra shit?
But I did it as sort of like a behind the scenes, VH1 behind the scenes of comedy. Like, all right, audience, we're going to have an honest moment here.
There you go.
We're going to fly by the seat of our pants and see if this works.
Nice. So where can everybody get the special?
It's just on YouTube. There are 2 ways to get there. I'm the only Nathan Timmel out there. I have learned that over time, that if you Google Nathan Timmel, I'm the only thing that shows up. It's you don't have to fight through like Nathan Timmel, the lawyer in Akron, or Nathan Timmel, who's registered sex offender in Austin. It's just me. And so if you either go to YouTube and type Nathan Timmel, mine's the only channel until this podcast gets out and spoofers decide, hey, I'm going to make a Nathan Timmel channel. Or if you just go to nathantimmel.com, it's, the first thing you see is like me. And then it's like, oh, watch the special on YouTube, and you tap it. So
nice.
Yeah, nathantimmel.com, or just go to YouTube and type Nathan Timmel, and it's called Unapologetic, if anybody will remember that.
Okay, cool. Make sure y'all check it out, Couchers. So what's next? What you got planned next? What's next?
Rewriting the entire act.
Say that again.
Rewriting the entire act, because now that the special is out there, I've never been in this position before where it's like, not that it's blown up. I mean, it's doing fine, but we've both said this. Every comedian has said this. Comedians are not like bands. People go to a concert and they say, "Oh, that's my favorite song. I could listen to it 10 times in a row." Paul has done that. I remember years ago reading that Paul Simon was on tour and he played "You Can Call Me Al," and as soon as it was over, he said, "You want to hear it again?" and played it twice in a row, and the audience loved it.
Wow.
Nobody goes to a comedian show and says, "Hey, do those jokes we watched online." They want to hear fresh stuff. So what's next is I am reworking my act so that it's not a crutch of, well, this worked and gets laughs, so I can just keep doing it. Because we've both seen comedians that do not change their act for years.
Yes.
How do you do that? How are you so tired? Especially when it's something that's, quote, topical, or it was 20 years ago. I worked with a guy 5 years ago that was still doing Monica Lewinsky jokes. I'm like, oh my God, dude, we're going back to, when did you write that?
When that happened.
Yeah. They and I don't know if it's fear. I don't know if my wife thinks it's fear sometimes that you get locked into your 45 minutes. It got you to headlining status and you don't want to change anything because what if you don't get a laugh and the club notices and you don't get asked back? Or maybe you just don't write. Maybe you just started coasting. Like, I don't know. I don't have ADHD. My brain is constantly spitting out jokes, and I write them down. Some work, some don't. And you take all the ones that work, and you pile them up, and eventually you get a new 45 minutes.
There you go. That's what's up. Yeah. So make sure you check that out. Unapologetic Special. Nathan Timmel on YouTube. Nathan Timmel. Is it NathanTimmelComedy.com or just NathanTimmel.com?
Just NathanTimmel.com.
NathanTimmel.com. Make sure y'all check him out. Follow him on all the social medias and go watch his special. Yes, thank you so much, Nate, for coming in and sitting on the couch, man. I appreciate it. Don't go nowhere. We just about to keep it going, keep it flowing. So we always start with a recap, just like what happened to us this weekend, a little bullshit. So I'll go ahead and start us. My weekend, it was pretty cool. My girl came through, we chilled. My daughter, she got picked up on Thursday, went with her mom. So actually Thursday I went down to Crackpots Comedy Club, and because my 15-year anniversary was last Sunday. So I went, I didn't get a chance to, thank you, I appreciate it. I didn't get a chance to get on stage. So, it's always that thing, you got to get on stage around your anniversary. It's just something that, as a comic, because basically what I wanted to do was just tell the first closer that I ever had. I've been doing it every year around my anniversary date, just bringing it out, because it's nostalgic, right? So I went up, that was like the only thing I knew I was telling, and I literally just started talking. I ended up telling the story about when I dressed up as Clayton Bigsby on Halloween in Kent, Ohio, which was that story is just hilarious. But I actually told it, and it
just the idea of you doing that is hilarious.
Oh, it was fun. Like, I had the voice and everything. I had my white dude. He was Jasper. It was amazing. I'm never gonna forget that. Right. So I got a chance to tell that story, and then just talk about my journey, man, and being in different places and all that, and talked about my parents passing, how when my dad died I almost quit, and then my mom died, and just a whole bunch of stuff. And then next thing you know, my brain was giving new comics tips and things to live by. Like, it just came out of nowhere. I'm like, I didn't know I was doing that. I was just telling them, keep at it, stop focusing on making somebody laugh, just make, because if you in it for the love, you got to love it first, and just have fun with it. And then the laughs are going to come. So just like encouraging some of the young comics that, and it's funny because a lot of them came up to me, was like, dude, I needed that, man. Thanks, man. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So, and then Friday, chill with the lady, man. And Saturday we went bowling. And listen, so I like bowling. I'm not in a bowling league or anything, and I can bowl, right? First game out the gate, I end up hitting a 198. Second game, 194. And then all the people that just come to bullshit get next to you, and they have no fucking lane etiquette at all. Like, they literally see you about to start going, and they just walk up there and throw the ball. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, no one ever taught you bowling courtesy. Like, y'all don't need to bowl. And that shit is like irritating as shit to me. So, but other than that,
Well, not to interrupt you, but that's
go ahead.
kind of on you, because if you know this, if you do anything on Saturday evening, that's amateur hour. You are not getting the bowlers. You are getting the people that are like, what do you want to do? I don't know. Well, we should go bowling. Oh, let's go bowling. We haven't done that in forever. So yeah, they don't know shit. You go to a bowling alley on a Wednesday night. Oh, those are the bowlers. They will respect your lane.
But you got to remember, on Wednesdays during the week, they got all these leagues, so you just can't go open bowl. The only open bowl is like Friday and Saturday night, so that's the only time I really get a chance to go. So, and yet you're right, it is on me, but, it's just funny that people don't realize that shit. So
people are clueless.
They are. And then yesterday did our men's mental check-in on each other, so that was cool. We've been doing that once a month just to check in on each other. So that was my weekend. How was your weekend, brother?
My weekend was good. I do want to go off one thing you said. It's funny because the only advice I give comics is almost a warning, and it's pretty much what you said. Is when they do ask me for advice, I don't give advice on comedy other than
I give information.
They just say, do it because you love it. Don't do it because you think it's a fast track for fame or girls or money, or because you want to get into acting in Hollywood, because maybe you'll dumb fuck your way into success. It's happened. It happens a lot. Usually, actually, you should do it for that reason, because it seems to happen to people that don't deserve it. But do it because you have to. Get on stage, because if you don't, you will die inside a little, because you have these thoughts inside your head that are screaming to get out. That's the only reason to do comedy, because you have to, because you have a passion for it. Don't do it because as a casual, as a like, I don't know, I got nothing better to do. You can do it, but I don't give advice on, well, you shouldn't be dirty, you shouldn't be clean, you shouldn't take the mic out of the stand. You should always take the mic out of the stand. It's literally just do what you love.
Absolutely.
Yep. And there are no more ethics or courtesy.
Absolutely not. I know.
I mean, and to make it personal to you and I'm knock on wood, it's not been too bad for me, but you get the people, the phone rings during the middle of the show, and it's like, you can turn it off. You can silence it. They said at the beginning of the show, please silence your phone. And you're sitting there, well, it doesn't apply to me. Yeah, I'm just going to sit here. And no courtesy. Just everyone is in their own world at all times now, because they're so connected to their phone that they think it's okay in public. Like, oh, am I on the couch watching TV? No, I'm in a live performance, but, I'm just going to glow my face. And
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All right. My weekend began on Friday with I had Friday night off. So my wife, growing up, always did family dinner on Saturday, and the whole family would go out. And so now I'm gone a lot doing comedy, but she loves it when I'm home, because she's like, okay, family dinner Saturday, we go out somewhere and we just connect as no phones. And so I'm like, well, I've got a show Saturday, so let's do family dinner Friday. And she goes, okay, I'm going to make friends with a family I'm going to make plans with my friends. So she took off and left me with the kids. And I'm like, all right, well, everybody's eating cereal because dad's feeling lazy because it's the end of the week. So I was daddy daycare on Friday. And then Saturday I had my show. And then Sunday, and I half of me wants to make a white person joke here, but I can't. I was going to say, on Sunday, every Sunday, I make it home after my gig Saturday night, or I will get up early and I make it home and I go play pickleball with my wife. And I want to make a white person joke, but it is ethnically diverse as fuck. So I can't even say it's a white person thing, because we have all, it's great fun. I want to insult pickleball, but I can't. That's what we do. And then I'm in so much body pain when it's over that I don't do much for the rest of Sunday. Like, your whole body is like, oh, I overused myself. I ache.
I still haven't tried it yet.
Sundays are the night I take a lot of ibuprofen before going to bed, so that I can wake up Monday and be mobile.
Hey, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. All right, let's keep it moving. We always like to do childhood memories. We bring up one childhood memory, funny or crazy, it don't matter. You already know we've been celebrating. We celebrated 3 years of the podcast last Sunday as well. So y'all done got into my past a lot, but we like for the couches to get into our past, especially our guest past. My childhood memory this week is going to be about my first job. That's what I'm going to do. So my first job was a Stop and Shop, which actually turned into Giant Eagles later on. But it was in Solon, Ohio. It was around the corner from my house. And I lied on the application saying that I was turning 16 a month prior to my 16th birthday just to get a job. And that job was okay. It was kind of, it was a grocery store. So, of course, they're not going to let a 16-year-old, 15 going to 16-year-old run the register. And that's what I wanted to do. Of course, I was bagging groceries and picking up carts and bringing them in and taking groceries to people's car when they pulled up and stuff like that. So it was stupid, but I used to tell people, like, do you want paper or plastic or both? Right. And people would be like, look at me like, what do you mean both? It was like, well, you put the paper bag into the plastic bag and then you open it so you can have handles with it so it doesn't, break as easily. And they're like, I never thought about that. Yeah, can I get that? And then I'm like, damn, I just gave myself more work just because I was being nice to somebody. But so I don't remember how long I worked there, but I remember you can, if you didn't have lunch, you can get a sandwich and then take it to the courtesy counter or customer service or whatever. And they would, take, you would get a lunch, but they would deduct it from your paycheck. And the one day I wanted a piece of candy and I was like, man, this fucking penny candy. I'm not about to take this back up to this, to the desk and tell them I want this piece of candy. So me being me, I just grabbed a damn butterscotch candy and unwrapped it and put it in my mouth and threw the paper away in the trash and kept it moving. Do you know they called me to the office talking about I was stealing? And I'm like, are you serious? Like, so
I guess that's where it was going to go. I'm like, oh, this is going to end horribly.
So they basically was literally always fucking watching me on the cameras. I'm like, how did you even, like, are you serious? Like, here go 2 fucking pennies. Like, are you serious? Like, literally, I didn't think nothing of it. Oh, well, you're not supposed to do that. That's stealing. We can call the police. I was like, call the fucking police for a piece of candy. Go ahead. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. And he's like, well, just don't let it happen again, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to take a penny out of your check. I was like, take the fucking penny. Matter of fact, take 5 pennies because I'm about to go grab me some more, motherfuckers. Like, so it was funny because it was like all eyes on me anytime I was on break. So that is my childhood memory for this week. What about you? Give us a childhood memory, Nathan.
All right, here we go. When I was in, I'm going to give you not backstory, but I'll tell you more than you. When I was in 3rd grade, and I don't really remember this, I'm going to lead to the memory. This was told to me. When I was in 3rd grade, my dad abducted me. That's what it would be called today. Today, it would be an Amber Alert. Back then, it was just called a family matter. My mom found that out when she went to the police and lawyers who all said, well, he's with his father, right? Well, then it's family matter. Like, it wasn't, but they had separated. She was living in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and I was living this was right after we were homeless. She's like, you know what? I'm done with him. I'm going to get my own place. And she went to Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and my dad went to Milwaukee, and my sister and I were with my mom, and he just came to the school and said, all right, come with me. And I'm like, all right. I guess I got in his car and he took me. And then he told her, like, all right, he's living with me. If you want to see him, you got to come live with me. And so for 4th grade, after her lease was up, then she came. But so for a year, it was just me and my dad. And we lived in an apartment on Sherman Boulevard up by Sherman Park in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. And anybody can look that up now. And you'd be like, ooh, that's frightening. I'm like, yeah, it is. Back then it was interesting more than frightening. Now it's frightening. But I would walk. I was a latchkey kid. I was in 3rd grade. I'd walk. I've looked on Google Maps. About a mile to school. It was the 38th Street School. And here's where we get into more information than your viewers ever wanted to know about me. But from childhood through today, I do not poop well in public or at all. I do not. I just don't like it. And this is the neat thing about it. My body as an adult now knows that. So when I'm gonna come to I'm going to the funny stop in April. Is it April or June? I've forgotten. Either way, I'll get in my car and drive for 9 hours, and my body will be like, "Oh yeah, you got to take a leak. Oh, you need to pull over and get a drink of water. Oh, you're hungry," and just nothing. But the instant I get to my destination, it'll go, "Okay, time to poop. You're safe. You're not near a gas station. You don't have to poop at a gas station. You are safe." And so my body's trained itself to not poop in gas stations or restaurants or anywhere else that just it's too private. So back to 3rd grade. I knew even then that I did not like it. I did not like pooping at school, so I wouldn't do it. But here's where the twist comes in.
Okay.
I could not make it from school to home. I had to poop. Like I'd start and be like, I got to poop. I got to make it home. I got to poop. I got to make it home. I can't poop. And so every day I would stop in Sherman Park where it was lined with bushes. They're gone now because at some point the police needed a line of vision across the entire park. But back then, and there were muggings, people would hide in the bushes. But back then, I would get almost home. I couldn't hold it anymore. So I would stop, find really private bushes, take a shit, and then go home and wipe my ass. So I couldn't poop in the stall at school because that was too weird, but I could crap in the bushes in Sherman Park because that just made sense to my 3rd grade brain. So that's who you're dealing with. That's who you've been talking to this whole time. A guy who has a fear of pooping in public, but as a kid would do it in bushes because
in public.
Logic.
I know you had a lot of shitty draws, man, back then. Oh shit! Hey, that's hilarious. That is too funny. Oh my gosh!
And I've never turned that into comedy. I've never done that on stage because I don't know. Just there's a difference between storytelling like that, personal one-to-one, even though people are watching, and like, all right, everybody, let me tell you a story about my childhood pooping. It just it doesn't. I don't know that it would flow on stage. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. Hey, that's funny though. That's hilarious. All right, here we go. One of my favorite topics on the show, flowers while they're still here. Instead of being conditioned like so many of us already give people flowers while they're dead and gone, we like to give people their flowers so they can actually smell those roses. My flowers this week is definitely got to go to my guest, man, Nathan Timmel, man. You getting your flowers today. Reason why is when I met you at the Funny Stop probably 14, 13 years ago, you was just cool as shit. Like, especially back then, you met people, especially like, that's my home club and all that. And I would do, get people always give me time on Thursday nights, which when the headliners came in, they came in on Wednesday back then, so that Thursday was like really they good show. And he would give me 5-10 minutes up front in front of anybody. Right. And it was times where headliners that I've never seen before and, and never seen again, actually, would get pissed because I would have a good set and they would be like, "Oh, it's just because it's your home crowd. You got people." I'm like, dude, I don't know nobody here. Like, I'm literally just starting. Like, why are you being such a fucking asshole? But you were so cool. And I remember, hosting for you a couple of times and you were always funny to me because there were a lot of people, comedy is subjective, so I always liked your material. I remember when you had that stint where you was always in a suit and tie. And I was like, "What's going on with this, Nathan?" You was like, "Oh, something new, SB. I'm just coming with a suit and tie." And then next thing you know, I seen you a couple years later, no suit and tie. I was like, "What happened to that?" "Oh, that shit got old, SB." And you just was always real and always cool, always had kind words, and always gave me good information, man. So I'm definitely giving your flowers today, Nathan. You deserve them, brother.
Well, thank you. I would love to turn around and say, I'm giving you the flowers and this is why, but I had this one in my head and and you brought it home to me. And this is sad. I don't want to bring anybody down. Nadal at the Funny Stop, because you mentioned Pete, and the people that don't know, Pete owned the Funny Stop for more than 20 years, I think. And you just get into the pattern of seeing these people. And you love them, and they become your friends, and he was just a character. And then one day you're online, and it's like, hey, Pete died.
Yeah.
And you didn't realize that the last time you saw them was the last time you were going to see them.
Yeah.
And, oh, shit, I'm having a memory. My family, we went to last summer, we went to see Niagara Falls.
Okay.
And I had always wanted to take my family to the Great Gorge Park in Cuyahoga Falls because I always go hiking there. Whenever I'm at the Funny Stop, I go because I love that hike. It's my favorite park in the country. It's beautiful. And so I had this plan in my head because Nadal is always talking about my kids, you know, like, oh, I see your kids on Facebook. They're so beautiful. And so I said, finally, I'm going to get my family. I'm going to take them to the Funny Stop. They're going to meet these people that mean so much to me.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to it. And then, you know, I got the news of Pete, and I was lucky and that it had only been like 2 or 3 weeks. And I go walking in with the kids and my wife, and Nadal just lit up, and she, Ned, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'd surprised her. I didn't say I was coming. You know, I go in and she sees my children, like, oh my goodness, there they are in person. They're so beautiful. I've watched you grow up online. And it just, she was so touched. And then there's Tony, and I don't know if this is an immigrant thing or a cultural thing, because he did what good people do. He immediately started in, hey, nice to see you. Look at you guys. You want something to eat? Let me, like, they just right there. Let me feed you. Let me give you food. Let me give you nourishment. And it was just, I felt so happy, sad that I was introducing my family to Tony and Nadal, and sad that Pete wasn't there.
Right.
So if you ask me who I'm giving flowers to, it's Nadal, because she is carrying on the Funny Stop with Tony, but I don't want to say all by herself. She's got a support team, but it's just, you know, you never know that last time you're going to see someone.
Yep.
And the only thing I have in the back of my head that makes me happy is never had a harsh word with any of them ever. You know, you have that with your family, you know, you can get into a fight and you're like, fuck you. And then they go get in a car accident. You're like, those are my last words.
Yeah.
So you try and guard that shit. You try and remember to appreciate what you have. And I want to appreciate Nadal.
Absolutely.
She's still hanging in there.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah. Cause you know, I do my suicide awareness fundraiser there every year. And this November was year 12. And so I always, like the last 3 years I've done it there, you know, the fundraiser, I always do like a little bit of the, you know, the podcast, like we did some crazy, funny, fucked up news there. And this year, you know, just being by myself running the podcast, I was like, I'm gonna give some flowers. So I literally went and bought some flowers before the show and brung Nadal on stage and gave her flowers. Like it took everything in my mic not to start crying right when I was giving her the flowers. But
I wasn't fighting tears here, but I can feel that I'm emotional. I can feel like
definitely. She deserves them, man. Definitely deserve them. So Nadal, you are getting your flowers once again. Well deserved. I like it. All right. So, wrong one. I hit the wrong one. So we will take our one and only sponsor break. But before we do that, BBC was chiming in and I missed it. She was like, you lied to be a cashier and didn't get the position. No, not at all. And then that's why they didn't let you be a cashier, because I was stealing candy. Absolutely. And then she said a penny. Absolutely. They got me for a penny, which didn't make any sense to me. All right. I think that's a great time to take our one and only sponsor break. Please don't go nowhere. There's more Just Therapy coming up. More comedian Nathan Timmel. And you already know who I am. I'm your host, comedian Sean Boyd, and I'm taking us to break, baby.
Primal Screen in Kent, Ohio. For all your screen printing and embroidery needs. Quality work, on time, fair prices. For more information, call 330-677-1766. Again, 330-677-1766. Or check us out online, primalscreenprinting.com. If you mention a podcast, you get 5% off. Peace.
Custom Design Aquariums, where we bring your aquatic dreams to life. With your help, using your imagination, together, we will turn your home or office into a peaceful getaway. For a free consultation, call 330-475-5181 or contact us by email, at customdesignaqua@gmail.com. Once again, that is customdesignaaqua@gmail.com. Mention this podcast and get 5% off. Ooh, you already know I love me some pizza, and I got the best place for you to get it. Twisted Tomato Pizzeria. They are the official sponsor of Just Therapy, the podcast, but they got 3 locations and 1 on the way. First location is 1909 Bailey Road, Cuyahoga Falls. Their phone number is 330-928-2222. They also have a downtown Akron location that is 325 South Main Street, Akron. Phone number is 330-849-5707. And their newest location, it's been there for about 4 or 5 months now, but that is 3031 Graham Road, Stowe, and that is 330-673-9410. Listen, best part about the downtown location has to be the beer wall, hands down. I like to call it a Dave & Buster's of beer, because what you do, you go in there, they have 36 glorious taps of wine, ale, IPAs, lagers, whatever you can think of is on this wall. You take some money, you give it to them, they give you a card, put the money on the card, you walk up to the tap, you put the card next to the tap, and you pour as much beer as your heart desires. I mean, it's just so good. When it hits your lips, it's just so good. Another thing I love about Twisted Tomato Pizzeria, they cater to your taste buds. And everybody always asks, what do you mean by that? Exactly what the hell I said. They cater to your taste buds. Anything you order, specialty or not, they make sure they get it right every single time. And it's always delicious. I know last week, little mama wanted some pizza, and she was like, let's go to Twisted Tomato, Daddy. She always like to call it Pizza Hut, then say Twisted Tomato, because she thinks Pizza Hut is every pizza place. But we go in there. Of course, we get the discount and all that good shit. And I wanted some pizza as well. And as soon as I got home and took that first bite, it's always the same. It was like, bitch. Like, it was just that delicious. So you got to try it out. And when you mention Just Therapy, the podcast, you get a 10% discount. Always ask for the owner, Brad Culver, because that's my guy, and he might even give you a little more discount. But check him out. Twisted Tomato Pizzeria. If it's pizza, it's possible. Yeah. All right. And we are back. Couple shameless plugs. Don't forget, end of the month, it is Revival of the Mic Poetry Night at Jilly's Music Room in Akron, Ohio. $10 entry fee. The show is from 7 to 10 p.m. Listen, the ladies of the poetry, man, I'm telling you, they always bring it. It's always some good poets there, and they are friends of the couch. So make sure you go check them out. Always the last Thursday of the month. Make sure you check them out, because it's always a great time. And you already know, coming in May, Reggae Fest Cleveland. Make sure you check it out. May 25th, Saturday, and May 26th, Sunday. And our very own, my co-host, Miss BBC, is on that Saturday, starting off the festivities. And then one of our guests, Milton Blake, is on that Sunday. So make sure you check it out. ReggaeFestCleveland.com for all of your ticket and event information. Check it out. Reggae Fest Cleveland. One love. Go get some vibes, y'all. All right. And we are back. Yes.
I had to move to the side for a second. I was like, oh, that's right. I got half my face showing. So I tried to lean. So I was just like, let's look at Reggae Fest. So that I get it.
Yeah. Reggae.
I took the 2 things. One, you sold me. I'm going to get some of the pizza when I'm there. And when I'm there, that's 2. April 25th, 26th, and 27th. I looked it up during the break. That's when I'm coming back to Cuyahoga Falls.
Cuyahoga Falls, Funny Stop Comedy Club. You say 26?
25, 26, 27,
26,
April.
26, 27. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Make sure you go check him out, y'all, because he is hilarious. You will not be disappointed. It is worth every penny that you spend, and it's always a good time there. So
no promises.
Check him out. Whatever. You always funny. Oh, man. All right, let's get into these topics, man. First topic I want to talk about is James Crumbley. I don't know if y'all heard yet, but both James and Jennifer Crumbley were found guilty, but they both took different paths to get there. Of the 15 witnesses who testified for the prosecution in James Crumley's manslaughter trial, all but one had already testified in his wife's trial last month. Each of the trial prosecutors used testimony from the same shooting survivors, police investigators, and school employees to prove that each parent was grossly negligent in allowing their teenage son, Ethan, to have a gun and ignoring the signs of his spiraling mental health, which caused a tragedy of people losing their lives in this situation. So the question I have is, because we talked about this not too long ago, when she got charged, and they did separate cases, I mean, you know, and had separate defenses, which is common in things like this. Well, just cases like that where it's two people, they will always try to split it up. So, you know, just in case somebody wanted to tell on somebody else, you know, but in this case, they both got found guilty. And we've had this debate and we've had this discussion plenty of times on the couch about the gun safety, right? And the laws that they do and them not really being taken seriously. So this time, and this is not the first, but well, they actually are the first parents to be brought up on charges. But they was not the only parents to be brought up charges, because later on, another lady was brought up on charges because her kindergarten student, her son, he was like 5 or 6, went to school with a gun and shot the teacher. So she actually got convicted and had to do, I think she's doing 2 years in prison for that. And we waiting on the sentences for them, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get some hefty years with this thing. But it's almost like a relief, and it's like about time that the parents are found liable in this situation because of the gross negligence that they did. Nathan, what's your thoughts on this?
Before I get into my thoughts, I could be wrong. I believe I read that the initial response was they wanted to go into court together, that they were going to be, I think it was their decision to separate, because I believe what I read was the thinking being that maybe one would get found guilty and the other would not, so they could still take care of it's kind of like, it makes me think of the Danny Masterson case where she filed for divorce immediately after he was found guilty so that he could give her all the assets and then she could raise their kid together and not have to worry about, you know, like he gets sued for whatever. But I thought they decided to separate so they could possibly protect themselves. But okay, overall thoughts are, I could not have been happier when they got charged. I could not have been happier when they were found guilty. Mm-hmm. I have, especially since becoming a dad, I have 2 kids. I have a 9 and 11-year-old. Mm-hmm. And obviously you don't know everything that goes on in the mind of your spouse, your child, your best friend, but you have a really good sense. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You can tell the temperament of your kids. I know when my kid is happy, sad, something's wrong, and it doesn't even have to be like they're crying, like, oh, you're crying, you're obviously sad. So this kid, Ethan, was just, you know, and I'm not even picking on him, he was mentally damaged. There was something wrong upstairs. He needed help, and they just actively, willingly, I was going to say they willingly ignored it, but it's so much worse than that. Not only did they ignore the help he was crying for, but it's like, oh, you need help. Gun? You know, like, I don't even want to ask what were they thinking, because they weren't thinking. They didn't care. They can cry crocodile tears all they want. Like, oh, we didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't care. You weren't present, because it's not like it was a secret. It's not like he was like, oh, he became moody and one day shot up the school. It was, he's drawing pictures. They're getting called into the school. He drew a picture of the gun he owned. He was saying, I hear voices. This was not a secret. Every case is different, but anytime someone does something like this, it's not out of the blue. And you know, a coworker, you can always say it was moody, but you can't get a coworker committed. But if you're a parent, you should have access to your kid long enough to go, hey, wait a second, something's not right here. Let's talk to him. Oh, you need help? Let's get him help. It's your kid. It shouldn't even be God, I hate to say this, but it almost seems like they thought their kid was a burden. Like, oh God, we got to pay for a. I don't know. I'm putting
Yeah.
myself, but you want your kid to do well. You want your kid, if they need help, to help them. You should want to help your kid, and they actively ignored that. They ignored. That's why I said what they cried was crocodile tears. I don't think they were crying because I think they were crying because they're going to jail because they got
Absolutely.
caught, but
Absolutely.
because they bear the responsibility, and I couldn't be happier. I hope it sets a precedent, and I want people to start being more responsible parents, people.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I couldn't been like, I was on your podcast last night, yesterday afternoon, and we talked about that, and I was like, oh, we're talking about that tomorrow, but
Well, we made it funny on ours. Jake just goes on. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
A little serious.
Right. But no, I definitely agree with you. I was definitely happy when I seen that because, about times they're being charged with something that they did because they literally ignored his symptoms. When you have your kid telling you, hey, I'm hearing voices or I don't feel well and I'm having some problems, you don't ignore those willingly, and then for the simple fact of they got tried differently and then the wife got convicted first and then him, I'm waiting on the sentencing. I want to see what kind of time they're actually going to get because they especially when the school calls you and say, hey, your son is not doing well, come pick him up. And I guess what were they, horseback riding or whatever?
Yeah, she went to tend to her horses to brush them. I don't know if it was horseback riding, but I don't know what he was doing, but I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know if it was the two of them, but I know it was her. I know that she went off to groom or feed or something with the horses.
The horses can wait. Your kid is way more important than them horses. Like, horses are important. I get it, but come on now. Your kids come first. Seriously. So, I mean, kudos to them finding them guilty on all charges of neglect. And we'll see what happens and see if this actually sets a precedent for other parents that, let their kids get a hold of their guns and things like that. You got to lock them up. You got to keep them out the way, So kudos to them.
I have a thought, and it's not fully formed because that's how thoughts work. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that I don't want to talk politics, but there are probably a lot of liberals that are against guns that, would say, oh, the death penalty is bad. You try and do the death penalty to scare people into not doing crime, but, it doesn't work. So we shouldn't have the death penalty. I hope. I would love to think that there are parents out there that would say, oh, shit, if they go to jail, like, I don't want to go to jail. Maybe I should be more serious. I wonder if they will. I wonder if people will pay attention. And the liberals would say, okay, you say the death penalty doesn't work. You're saying they should go to jail. Do you think that will deter crime? I don't know what does and does not deter crime.
Right, absolutely.
I want them to go to jail, but it's just that thought popped into my head is we're all hypocrites in some ways. And I'm guessing there are people that this is going to help deter crime. Will it? Do people pay attention to this, or do they just live their own lives?
Listen, I don't know if it's gonna help deter crime, and because we already know people go live their lives regardless. But I mean, I'm hoping it makes a difference to having parents pay attention to their kids more. Listen,
it shows accountability. If even if it doesn't change anything, it shows accountability. Yeah. Oh, this horrible thing happened. We're not going to do nothing. We are going to because they bought their kid a gun. But I want to see it taken one step further to the, was the gun locked up? No, you just had it sitting out. All right, well, there's got to be a neglect there. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely correct, man. We got to pay attention to these kids more, man, especially because, my day job is talking to 6th through 12th graders about mental health and suicide prevention. So, I sympathize with these kids because I remember how I was and how I felt when I was in school, so I can understand them. And so that's why I had conversations with them instead of just talking at them and just giving them information, So, I get kids to open up to me, strangely enough. Well, not really strangely enough, but, they actually open up to me and, we have a discussion on, different topics and mental health topics and stuff like that. So got to pay attention to these kids, man. They going through it too, man. Like we think they shit is small because they ain't got to pay no bills and they ain't got no real heavy responsibilities like adults do. But they still got shit going on, man. You know, that just check on your kids, man. Look out for them a little more, man. That's my biggest thing. So,
Well, you just said something really important, and you sort of, I don't want to say you glossed over it, but you were just sort of stream talking. I don't think you realize how important it was what you said. You said, I remember being there when I talked to them. I remember that time. So many people forget. So many adults forget what it was like. And you made me think of a friend of mine, and we're still friends, and I like him. Well, I don't know that we're friends. I would say we're more acquaintances because we were high school friends together. We were great friends. Now we're adults. We don't see each other that much. But you know, I have nothing against him. I don't think he has anything against me. We're friends. But I remember a couple of years ago, he was like, hey, I'm looking to sell some of my old albums that I've been carting around my whole adulthood. You know, I got Slayer in there and a couple other things. I'm like, what are you talking about? You have a son. You give those to him. And he went, what are you talking about? I don't want my kid listening to that Satan shit. And I'm like, you own them. That's what we listened to in high school. Did we turn out fucked up and Satan worshipers that, you know, like stab and sacrifice the virgin? Oh, right. No. Your son is going through the same thing we did in a different era. Why are you trying to protect him from what you lived through? Don't you understand that trying to act all bubble and pure and I was a good kid? It amazed me how much he forgot about his own childhood and was like, no, my kid can't listen to that. We did. We listened to it. Why? We forget. People forget. And I'm like, that was just absurd to me. It just reeked of hypocrisy.
It happens. Listen, because like I remember the shit we listened to. I mean,
Two Live Crew.
They shit. Oh yeah, they shit is nowhere near better. That shit is like scary because all they doing is talking about drugs and killing themselves and that's in the lyrics. And it's like, come on. They shouldn't be listening to that shit because they think it's okay and they think it's cool. So, but you can't be a hypocrite. So, it is what it is. Couchers, chime in if you want to, or throw it on the Facebook page. We'll talk about it some more. Next topic coming up. I wanted to talk about this. I've been waiting to talk about this, and I thought about putting it in crazy, funny, fucked up news because it's funny, so we can tear this one apart all we want. Woman sues drug makers of Ozempic and Mounjaro over severe gastrointestinal issues. Okay. So a lot of these people have been taking these medicines because they're basically for, to develop and manage diabetes, right? It is to help with diabetes, that trying to get them under control. But a lot of people have been taking them for weight loss. So now this lady, 44-year-old woman, she claims she used Ozempic for more than a year until around July of 2023 and began using Mounjaro. She is suing the makers of both drugs for failing to warn of the risk of severe gastrointestinal events that could be caused by taking the medications. Well, if you take the medications for the wrong reason and then you're injecting them, what happened was it got injected into her bowels. So it's giving her a lot of different scenarios, saying some of the stuff is results sustained severe and permanent personal injuries, pain, suffering, and emotional distress. Basically, it's making her severe vomit, stomach pain, gastrointestinal burning, and being hospitalized for stomach issues on several occasions, including visits to the emergency room, teeth falling out due to the excessive vomiting, requiring additional medications to alleviate her excessive vomiting, and throwing up whole food hours after eating it, it adds, right? So it ended up giving her the runs, and she can't get rid of the runs ever.
I have a lot to say, but just off your last statement, what I have to say is good. Because I don't even know if I can make jokes about this because it makes me angry. The more you talked, the more frustrated I got because you summed it up. This is and this happens a lot with medicine. It happens a lot. They say, oh, we have this wonder drug that can help with diabetes or hypertension. Oh, it also helps with weight loss. Well, let's just profit off it and sell it for that. And so the people that need Ozempic or the compound for their diabetes, they start taking it improperly, and oops, it fucks with your system.
Yep.
Now, I don't know this specific case, but I do know there was another case where a woman died taking it. And here's the kicker. She kept taking it. She wanted to slim down. What's that?
I seen that one too, but I was like, when I was looking up this case, because I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about this. I ain't talked about it yet. And then I seen one at the top was like, died from taking it. And I'm like, oh, that ain't the one I wanted. I wanted the other one.
Well, the one that died, and I don't know the particulars in this case, but the one that died, here's the thing. She wanted to slim down for a wedding. So she started taking it, started having reactions, and kept taking it. Like, oh, it's like the fucking movie Seven, where it cuts off her nose and then gives her a bottle of sleeping pills or a phone. She can call 911 or she can take the sleeping pills. This woman was having horrible reactions and kept taking it because it's like, oh, sure, I'm all these horrible things are happening, but I gotta fit into that dress. So I don't want
somebody else's wedding.
Yeah, I don't want to victim shame here. And I don't know if she kept taking it, but it's like even the first one where you're like, oh, wonder pill. This is why I was getting angry, because I'm not going to make fun. Losing weight sucks. Trying to maintain a healthy weight is hard work. A magic pill is never the answer. Even when they come out and say, ooh, new wonder drug, Ozempic, it's unlike anything else, it's still not the answer. Let me tell you, let me read from my phone right now.
Let's go.
As of today, at 7:26 p.m. in Central Time Zone, I got up this morning at 6:30. I've been awake 13 hours. I have eaten 1,200 calories of food. For breakfast, I had a bowl of Raisin Bran and a half a cup of whole milk. For lunch, I had a scoop. I had 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, a tablespoon of strawberry, and then a half a cup of cottage cheese. For dinner, I had a plain flour tortilla with 2 slices of cheese, and a snack, I had 30 cashews and 7 cubes of cheese. I'm going to have another snack, a high protein one. This is a very low protein day for me. This is what maintaining your weight looks like. You know what's not on there? McDonald's, 5 slices of pizza, a 4-course meal. Everyone struggles with their weight. People look at me and go, oh, look at you, you skinny bitch. Yeah, this is what I fucking ate today. And I'm not, here's the best part. I'm not starving. I'm not hungry right now. I noticed last week at one point, I said to my wife, I'm like, holy shit, it's 8 p.m. I've eaten 900 calories worth of food. You know, I have a tracker. I have an app. I'm not hungry right now. Everybody's metabolism is different. Mine slowed way down. But as far as being hungry, we eat when we're bored, and we have to train ourselves to not do that.
Yep.
As of like a year ago, I was heavier. I noticed a shift in my body. I'm like, oh God, I'm getting fat. And so I decided to take steps to rectify that. It sucks. It's difficult, but you go from, oh God, I want to eat something. Oh, I should snack on a bag of Doritos. Oh, I should do this, to holy shit. I've been talking to you for 90 minutes. That's when I ate that quick tortilla thing. I'm not hungry right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your body will attune to what, and again, everybody is different. People will have different caloric needs, but we as a nation, we overeat and we eat the wrong things. You don't see Twinkies on my list. You don't see, like I said, not even like the Twinkies, but the junk food, the overeating. I know it's 30 cashews because I read the thing. It's you eat a certain number and you eat 15 and it's 150 calories. Well,
Right.
15 isn't filling it all. So I eat double the serving size. So that's 300 calories of just cashews, but you just monitor. It sucks. But
I can't believe you count how many cashews you eat. My
I
God.
count 30 fucking cashews and 7 cubes of cheese. And I love them because cashews
You always been skinny as fuck, man. Like,
not a secret why I'm skinny. It's not a natural, just sort of like I could eat double, cheeseburgers and Big Macs all day. It takes fucking work. So look, I get it. People struggle. They want to lose weight. You got to put in the work. Let's relate it to comedy. We're both comedians. You
Yeah.
don't go to your first open mic and become a headliner. You
Nope.
work and work and work and work and work and work and work. And weight loss is tough work. You got to
Yeah,
put in the
it
fucking
is.
effort.
You're
I
right.
have a friend. I won't name anything about them, but they would always talk about, I can't lose weight. I don't know why I'm not losing any weight. Losing weight is hard. And on the very same day, would post every single day, I'm just having a cheat day. Oh, I had a sleeve of Oreos. I'm just having a cheat day. And I'm like, if every day is a cheat day, it's we are in control, and there's
Yeah.
always pushback like, oh, I have a medical condition. I don't have it in front of me. I Googled it once, and I remember finding statistically, medically speaking, it was something like 3% of the population has a legitimate medical condition, and the rest are just saying they do, or, well, I started taking this medication, work fucking through it. It's
Right.
not easy. I'm not telling you it's easy. I'm not poo-pooing it, but you have to put in the fucking effort. And
Absolutely.
I guess the reason I'm so harsh is you don't get to file a fucking lawsuit when it's your
No.
fuck up. That's
No.
where I get the anger is we're the sue happy nation of,
Yeah.
wow, I did this thing I shouldn't have. Now I'm suing. It's the fucking movie Philadelphia. Okay, so let me get this straight. You're walking down the street. The other side is blocked off. You cross the street in the middle of the street, not at the end. You cross it. There's a big sign that says, do not enter. You walk in and you fall in the hole. Yeah. Do I have a case? Yes, you do. Like, that's what we are as a nation, is we can sue
Yeah.
over fucking anything because
Anything.
they usually settle. It's like, I want $1 million. We'll give you 100,000. I'll take it.
Yep, pretty much. But to me, it's funny because like when I heard this, I thought of the commercial that Ozempic.
See, the problem is these people don't remember Olestra, the last magic pill. Like, you can eat all the potato chips you want. Beware of leakage.
Yep, absolutely. So she has permanent diarrhea for the rest of her life because she injected it into her intestines.
I want to relate this to our previous story. Hey, folks, you remember how I said that hopefully these parents will be an example to other parents and maybe you'll lock up your guns? If you don't want to be walking around wearing a fucking adult diaper, don't inject this shit into your body. Put in the work.
Or end up dying. Shit.
Yes, or end up dying.
Golly. I can't believe she started having these things happening and these reactions, and she just kept taking it because I got to fit into this dress and it's not even my wedding. Like, come the fuck on. Stop it. That's crazy. That is crazy as shit. Oh my gosh. Oh man. All right, let's get this other topic in. We got time. So listen, it says your thoughts, right? So I just wanted to get people's thoughts on this, right? So, all right, it's this couple. They've been married for 17 years. The wife has 2 kids, right? And they are not the husbands. Okay.
Previous relationship kids.
Yep.
I'm with you.
2 kids are grown, but they've been married for 17 years. Now that they have grandkids, right? But they're not his biological grandkids. But he's also been in this girl's life for 17 years. The daughter gets in trouble and is going to prison. So the mother, of course, wants to take in her grandkids so they don't go to foster care. The husband says, I'm done raising fucking kids. I didn't even raise no kids of my own. I helped you raise yours. We not taking these grandkids in. Who's wrong in this situation? Is there a problem with the marriage? Or does he have a point where he's at that age where I want to enjoy my old age and relax and travel and have a good time? I don't want to bring in little kids who not mine. But this is the thing. When you think about that story, right? 17 years, okay? So he's been in these grandkids' life their entire damn life.
Yeah.
Like, you're their papa or whatever it is. But he's like, nah.
My initial reaction was fuck him.
Mm-hmm.
I will temper that a little by saying, okay, I can kind of see a little bit his point of view. So I'll take away the fuck him, but I'll replace it with man the fuck up. You got to do what you got to do. I'm sorry they're not your body. Like, at some point, like you said, okay, they're not his biological grandkids, but you were there when they were born. Like I'm in the same situation, kind of like not the same. My mom and fake dad, she got remarried, and he's just this guy that he's a great dude. My grandkids, he's been with her for I don't know 20 years, maybe something like that. So they're the only grandpa that he's the only grandpa my kids have known, and he loves them. And it's like it doesn't matter that these are the grandkids. Like it's just I'm sorry you don't get to go on the fucking Carnival goddamn cruise or whatever. Fine, take a Disney cruise, one for the family. It's the idea that I'm done and these kids deserve foster care instead of a loving home.
It's fucked up.
It is, but I will also temper my fuck him with there's something going on there. Why is she going to jail? There's the marriage is that this doesn't come out of the blue. I mean, there's got to be friction somewhere in there, somewhere else. And I mean, was it a crime of like, she got caught embezzling? It was more than just penny candy from the grocery store, or was it, was she selling her body or crack, or what's the crime?
Right. So I don't know the crime, but then when you start putting it that way, you start to think like, so she's going to prison, not to jail, but to prison, right?
Well, isn't jail kind of like a holdover? You get arrested, you go to jail, you go to court, you go to prison. Isn't that the difference?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, because you can still go to jail and not be in prison. You know what I'm saying? You can go to the county. You can serve time in the county, and the county is not actual prison.
Not federal. Okay, gotcha.
Right. So she's going to prison. So maybe it's the simple fact of, I told you she needed to get her shit straight.
Yeah.
We had to bail her out before. Now she in some shit. Now we got to take care of her fucking kids. Like, I'm done. It can be one of those situations too. But
man the fuck up.
But blame her, not the kids.
That's it. Because you're fucking them. You can be angry at the wife. You can be angry at the mom that's going to prison. All you're doing, if those kids go to foster care, they're fucked. They're on the same path. You got to give them all the love they deserve because it's not their fault. Thank you for not their fault.
So that's how I look at it. Even if he mad at the damn daughter for being dumb and going to prison, I get that, but don't blame the kids, man.
Don't blame the kids. Don't punish the kids because you are effectively punishing the kids.
Because you literally are punishing the kids by sending them to foster care. Absolutely. So I almost had a situation like this where my second ex-wife, I had, and I'm probably giving too much information, but fuck it, I don't care. I had temporary custody for an entire month of my stepdaughter, right? And it was the simple fact of I wouldn't let her go in the system. I couldn't let her go in the system. So I had her for an entire month. Yes, it was a lot because I had like a 2-year-old and then a teenager. And it's like, oh, this is a lot. Like I can deal with the little one, but I treated my stepdaughter like she was mine. So I wouldn't go let her go to foster care. And then when her grandmother took full custody, I'm like, okay, cool. She's with somebody, even though her grandmother's a piece of shit, but I wasn't going to be able to do both, but still, I wasn't going to let her go to foster care, regardless how I felt about her mom and all that. You know what I'm saying? Getting a divorce and all that. Regardless how I felt about her, I was making sure she wasn't going to foster care. So,
see, this is what makes you a better person than me. You bring a personal, heartfelt story that shows you're full of integrity to the table, whereas all I can do is say, hey, this is kind of like the end of the movie Parenthood, where, Tom Hulse shows up with his mixed race son, cool. And at the end, Jason Robards, who wants to retire from the plumbing shop, says, well, I have to keep working, but do you want to come live with me? And cool nods his head. And, I relate it to movies I've seen.
Oh, man, that's crazy. So talk to us about that. Let me know what your thoughts on this. But it is time for my favorite subject of the evening, crazy, funny, fucked up news. Yeah. And this week on Crazy, Funny, Fucked Up News, I got video. So this has been surfacing again, even though it's old. And I want to know, are they foul for doing this, or or not. But let's get some laughs in. Here we go.
Danielle Perez, come on down.
This woman is fulfilling a lifelong dream to be a contestant on The Price is Right.
$6.74.
As you can see, Danielle Perez is in a wheelchair. She lost her feet in a tragic accident 10 years ago when a trolley car in San Francisco ran over her.
I'm so excited right now.
But look at the prizes she's going for. One of them is something she can never use.
First, this folding treadmill features 24 built-in speed and incline programs.
You heard right, a treadmill.
Let's give it to her. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
It's hilarious. It's so funny. I mean, I have no feet. I'm in a wheelchair. Like, I can appreciate this, that delicious irony that is being gifted something I have absolutely no use for.
Danielle won and became an instant sensation on social media. One tweet went, "Lady in a wheelchair won a treadmill. I laughed, but then felt bad." Danielle tweeted right back, "Don't feel bad. I feel great. This is literally the best day of my life. I've been popping wheelies all day." And get this, Danielle is a comedian. She posted a picture of her reaction to winning with this caption, "When you win a treadmill on national TV, but you have no feet." So what's Danielle going to do with the treadmill? She says it'll make a great piece of furniture.
If you can't laugh at this, then what on earth can you laugh at? Because way worse things happen than being gifted a treadmill on national television.
I mean, the instant they got to her, I was so happy because I was worried we were going to see the professional victim. The how dare they, not even giving any thought to the fact that this is all set in stone. A TV production is a difficult piece of machinery with all sorts of moving cogs, and they can't like last minute go, "Oh fuck, we got the wheelchair lady, get it up." Everything's set in place. God bless her. I mean, just that instant they got to her, she's like, "I think it's great. You know, this what could be." I mean, that's the perfect attitude. All we have in America are professional victims that I do hope she became a multimillionaire off whatever the San Francisco thing that took her feet was. Because
the trolley, yeah, man.
Yeah, here we are talking about the Ozempic lady wanting to sue. No, you did that to yourself. Unless she went and laid down on the tracks and said, "Okay, don't ride. I'm laying here." Any other reason? Maybe if she passed, I'm leaning, just not knowing anything, towards her deserving a big settlement. But God, what? Jesus fuck! Here we are talking about the Ethan Couch. I lose my feet, I'm gonna go on a wheelchair shooting spree. I'm gonna be a bitter, angry cunt. And yet this woman, such a beautiful, had a sense of humor about it. No, good for her. Absolutely love her for her response.
Yeah.
I mean,
although if that was me rolling down and they showed me a treadmill and I won it, I would have looked at Drew Carey, knowing he's a comedian from Cleveland, right? I'd have been like, "Fuck, I'm gonna do with this." Like, like literally, I'm about to see how hard my arms is gonna work on the treadmill. Like,
I would have tried to come up with. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I mean, they invented Craigslist for a reason. Facebook Marketplace. What's that treadmill? 3,500. All right, on sale, new, never used, 1,500. I got 1,500 in my pocket. She said it'll make a great piece of furniture. No, you sell that puppy. You got an extra 1,000 in your pocket.
I like how she said I was popping willies all day.
That was great. Oh my God.
Could you imagine her trying to? Because we know that's a joke. But could you imagine her trying to pop a willy and then her ass fall back in her head?
I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen her on Timmel or Colbert, because that's literally what it takes these days. They don't have talent scouts anymore or hard work. It's like, "Oh, wow, she's got a great attitude. She went viral. Let's put her," and good for her. I don't have anything against it, but that's how the system works these days.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we can maybe say, well, no, you're right, because like you ain't even got to be funny because you got the gimmick and you was on live TV and went viral for that. They should have put her on there and somebody should have signed her. But I mean, because I was about to say maybe she's just not funny, but you know, there's a lot of people out there that's getting money that's not that funny. So yeah,
at least she has a very upbeat, positive attitude. I see a lot of people that are negative and get money. So
that's true.
I give her props.
That is true. Oh shit, that's hilarious. So like But somebody was saying that she can do like the arm dips on the treadmill.
Yeah, she can do tricep drops. She could probably, if she weighs down the other side, she could do pull-ups on one side. Mm-hmm. That's what she should do. She should release a workout. She should release her own parody workout video. How to use a treadmill when you don't have feet.
All arms, baby.
Fucking viral. Yeah. Upper body workout on a treadmill. Upper body treadmill workout. Yeah.
Oh shit! And that's this week's crazy, funny, fucked up news.
Sell it to the military. For back in the old World War II days where you got to do military crawls. You just put that treadmill on and you're like, all right, here we go. Got to get Charlie. Yeah. There you go.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You had to put it on the slowest speed because your ass is literally going to fall off. We seen them dumbass people running and doing dumb shit on them.
And then you got the variable settings like, going up a hill, going up, flat, you know.
But they're not going to be able to change it because they're already on the ground. How they go?
That's true. Yeah. Yep. No changing.
They got to have a spotter like they on the.
Well, you can program it. You say, I want to. They have programs where it does it for you. Yeah. But either way, that's what it is. It's military crawls. It's the old school military crawls.
Shit.
That was old school military crawls like we had to do in gym class when we still had gym class and kids weren't fat and wanted to take Ozempic. See, I brought it back around to that.
Touche. Nathan, man, hey, thanks for coming to the couch, man. Definitely enjoyed this episode, my brother.
Thank you for taking time out of this is your show, and you put me on it, and thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me. Man. I appreciate that.
Anytime. Make sure you shoot me
anytime next week. Can we do it next week too?
Hey, yeah, I ain't got no guests next week. You want to come back next week? We'll do it all over again.
I'm going to see you next month, right? We're going to see each other in person, hug it out.
Yes. Listen, make sure you remind me though, so I can remember, and then I'll also push it on the podcast as well. You know, make sure motherfuckers come out. So, yes, but definitely, man, that's my plan to be there next month, at least one of them days, and come hang out, talk some shit. If not, we at least do lunch one of them days for sure. Yeah. All right, we'll at least get some lunch there, regardless.
Do your sign off. I won't interrupt again. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, no, you cool, man. You cool. Give everybody information on how they can follow you one more time.
Just NathanTimmel.com. It's Nathan Timmel on all the social media things. If you want to, I don't always, but I don't mean to. Sometimes I start fights online. I post a video a day on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And if I even mention anything controversial, like, I don't know, trans issues or chocolate versus vanilla, people get pissed off. So even if you don't like fighting, you can go watch people fight on my channels. But yeah, just NathanTimmel.com, and that's one-stop shopping for all things me.
Nice. And as always, before we get out of here, is the close. Listen, little mama is upstairs. My girlfriend came through to hang out with her, so she upstairs, so she ain't gonna give me my echo that we always get every week. But it's time for your close, something you can ponder on until the next time you see us live on YouTube or Facebook under Just Therapy the Podcast, and here's next day on Spotify, something you can ponder on until you see us again. Here we go. So what we gonna do, I'm gonna read this and then you go break it down in your own words. You ready?
Hopefully.
I mean, you'll be all right. Come on, we go off the top all the time. All right, here we go. Once you face your fear, nothing is ever as hard as you think. So one more time. Once you face your fear, nothing is ever as hard as you think. Break that down in your own words and we'll get up out of here.
Sadly, I'm going to relate it to a movie because the first thing I think of is Fearless with Jeff Bridges, where he gets in the plane crash and then has no fear and just it becomes very relaxed and casual. But I'm not sure if that's a good thing because life, there is a certain amount of fear involved. What if you become like, oh, I used to be afraid of dogs, but then I pet one and, well, now I'm just going to go walking into traffic. Like you relate everything to something else. I don't know. I think a certain amount of fear is healthy. I don't think you should treat life casually. You shouldn't be afraid of it, but you should respect it. You should remember to respect life and respect all life. And yeah, so I took it sideways, but those are my thoughts. Is keep a healthy amount of fear. Don't be overly afraid of anything. Just Yeah, respect life.
There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's good. All right, y'all. I will see you next week, God willing, as always. Nathan, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate you, brother.
I will see you on my OnlyFans. You can watch me put mayonnaise on my feet and pay me $10 for that. That's how I make all my money.
Never, not at all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem. And as always, one thing you can never get back is time. And I want to thank you for spending your time on the couch with us. Until next week, love y'all. We out. All right, Nate. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
I understand that I influence my kids. That's my job, to raise them correctly. And I know that they're paying attention to me, you know, when I have a reaction. Like if I turn the page, transgender, then they're like, oh, okay, you. That's how we think of transgender people. I know that they're paying attention to me. What I did not know is that they are paying attention to me 24/7, even when I think they are not looking. And I learned that the hard way when my daughter got invited to a birthday party at a llama farm. I took her to the llama farm, and when we got there, the llama handler said, all right, everybody, safety meeting, gather around. Okay, what you gotta remember is llamas is temperamental. If they don't like you, they spit. And without skipping a beat, my daughter said, yeah, but if they love you, they swallow. And every parent turned to look at me. I'm like, hi, I'm the comedian dad. I must have said something when I thought she wasn't paying attention. I was probably talking to her mom, trying to...